Hello, Billy Ho here, coming at you with a preview and picks show for the 2023 John Deere Classic. We head up to TPC Deere Run for a short knocker kind of course, Silvis, Illinois. And we're going to talk what kind of skills are needed, maybe some weather, discuss a few players that look to play well. And it's likely the weakest field we'll see all year. So I don't want to hear anybody complain, oh, we've crap field. Well, this is usually the time of the year where guys are going to take their week off, gear up, head overseas for now that they have the Scottish Open and the Open Championship back to back. They want to get overseas and get acclimated to the life and atmosphere of our friends across the pond. So we're going to have just a less than stellar field, but we're still going to have money to win. So let's do this. Okay. Obviously, we got to get down and dirty this week. So smash the like and hit that subscribe button a third time if you haven't already done so. Tell your friends. Last week I had, at the end of one of my videos, I laid out Troy Merritt, Vince Whaley, and one Peter / Johnny Quest at $6,100. And they all flew up the leaderboard, and I guarantee you they were under 2% owned in any contest you played them in. 1.1% on Quest for me. So keep that in mind. Smash the like, leave a comment, and let's go. TPC Deere Run. We're going to take a look at some flyover footage right now. And we're going to get into some stats and courtesy of Fantasy National and lay out the holes and all that good stuff. So let's do this. TPC Deere Run is a DA wide ring designed. It plays 7,268 yards, and it's a par 71. Bent grass fairways, extra generous, wide, got dog legs all through the first, I don't know, half dozen holes. I think they're all dog legs. The average size greens are also bent grass. They run a little bit on the quick side. The 4-inch rough is a mix of Kentucky bluegrass and fescue, so not super penal. It's not that thick stuff that you can't hardly whack it out of, but you are going to find spots to where you're going to have some problems. So it's not going to be all good. So keep it in the fairway. They're generous. Like I said, first 6 holes are kind of dog legs. First 2 are super easy. So you can, or better yet, need to get out the gate fast because you won't see another par 5 till the back 9. Holes 4, 5, and 6 are short par 4s you can take advantage of. Hole 9 is the hardest hole on the course. So you have to manage that one and make your par and move on to the back 9 where you hit the second par 5. And that's the hardest one of the 3. So it's almost 600 yards. So it could be, depending on the conditions, because they're generally soft fairways up there. And I'm not going to check the weather this soon. I think there's probably some sort of rain in the forecast in the next week or so. So we're probably going to have somewhat soft fairways. But anyway, you have a couple after that par 5 10th. You have a couple of challenging holes that leads you up to a very short par 3, the 16th hole, and then the 17th is a very easy par 5 where the eagle rate's slightly bumped. And then you finish with an extremely difficult par 4 18th, what you're looking at now it's kind of cool with the elevated tee, and then it kind of dog legs to the right around the edge, and then on your approach shot, you got that water illuminating to the left. So it's a really, really great home hole. So you got to watch out for that. Hopefully it'll make or break somebody's tournament. But anyway, so if after looking at everything, your skill sets, do your damage on the par 5s first and foremost. That first par 5, the second hole, is a 4% eagle rate, which is very high. So you better make birdie there. But if you make par, you're losing a stroke right off the bat because there's no way that thing ain't playing almost a full stroke over par. So of course a little bit of a weaker field, but anyway, the easier par 4s you have to take advantage of. There's 2 or 3 on the front, and then there's 1 or 2 on the back. So there's about 5 or 6 really easy, doable and then par fours. Then there's a pretty easy par three, and then you have your three par fives, which you best go 3, 6, 9, 12 under par at least. You better average a birdie on all of them at least, or you're going to be chasing all weekend. Greens in regulation, accuracy off the tee, wedges. Those are the three main things. So you put it out in the fairway and you knock your wedge close, and then it's going to ultimately come down to putting. And since we have seen bent grass greens for the most part in the last month and a half, quite a few bent grass greens, I'd say you could do your last 24 rounds on putting, just general. I wouldn't even worry about doing just specific bent because these greens are, they're easier to putt on, in my opinion, because you had your boy Michael Kim several years ago gained like 13 strokes, and that dude was never really a factor, and he hasn't been a factor until recently, which is interesting. So anyway, getting into players, pricing, it's going to be really interesting to see what pricing is. Honestly, like I said, I just mentioned Michael Kim, who won a few years ago. Is he going to be 9K in this field? I don't know. His recent form's been really good. He'll get the past champion bump. So who knows? But the lack of big names at JDC gives these guys a chance, these lesser known players, to get in there and go in there and try to steal one or try to pick one off. But also, I think it's a huge opportunity for some of these veterans to get those exclusive tour wins, kind of like Grillo did, Emiliano Grillo did earlier in the year, and Justin Rowe. Some certain old school guys that haven't won in a while have picked off wins. Chris Kirk, he's in the field. So basically, we've got 9 of the world's top 50 making the trip to Silvis, and Cameron Young, who's been really struggling. I thought he might have almost had it turned around this week, but he seems like he's still a little ways away. I don't know if this is the right course for him because it really takes that distance out of his hands. But he is he plays the right shot. He's a good iron player. He hits a lot of irons off the tee. So, it's going to come down to putting with him and mental game. Russell Henley seems like a great, fairways and greens, and he's having one of the best seasons he's had in his career. And he had a recent win back in the fall. So maybe he gets, I guess technically it would be a second win on the season. Weird. And then Grillo, obviously, Denny McCarthy, who has been knocking at the door, has got to be the favorite for the veteran guy, journeyman, whatever you want to call him, that's going to finally win a tournament. So you got him. Then you got Sepp Straka, who's been playing really well. I played him at Rocket, and he came through pretty good. Chris Kirk, like I mentioned. Nick Taylor has been very competitive this year. Seamus Power, not so much, but this seems like a course Seamus Power could just get down on. So I don't know what, I'll do a deep dive into him. KH Lee, TPC, Deere Run, TPC, KH Lee, but he hasn't really been playing all that great lately. The irons have been really wonky. So I do kind of feel like the winner should come from this group. But gosh, seeing a guy like Grillo or Chris Kirk getting their second win in the season is kind of crazy when you think about it. But I am rooting for Denny. We also have past champions that just guys that pop up out of nowhere, like JT Poston. Lucas Glover flew up the leaderboard yesterday at the Rocket Mortgage. I said, where did he come from? So, Lucas Glover won this in 2021, and he was part of my DFS lineup. That was one of my better weeks I've ever had, having a very low-owned Lucas Glover, who's a tremendous ball striker, and just all he needs is to get that 1 week where he actually gains 2 to 3 to 5 strokes putting, and he did it 2021, so maybe he'll do it again. Dylan Fratelli is a guy that can miss 9 cuts in a row and then come in and win a golf tournament, So then you got the Michael Kim, like I mentioned. Zach Johnson won it way back in 2012, and Zach Johnson's actually been playing not too half bad lately. And he's just a short hitter, but he's really good with the wedges, and he can putt, and he likes bent grass greens and whatnot. So he's another dude that I wouldn't mind taking a deeper look at. But that's just some names I thought I'd toss out there for you. I felt like this has been a really good layout for the JDC, John Deere Classic. So best of luck, everybody. And until the next video, see you soon. Thanks.